So you were just telling me that when you were 24, you worked, what was the name of the company again?
Schwans.
Swans. And what is
Mhm.
that?
So it's a home food delivery service, and they used to be based in Minnesota.
Okay.
And they have these beautiful color catalogs, and they go drive to house to house to house. The drivers have routes, and you order from the catalog, and they'll deliver the food to you. So,
And not just restaurants, so like private individuals.
oh yeah, private
Okay.
homes. Yep,
Okay.
absolutely. And it's very popular for many years, and they had a lot of things, especially here in the Midwest, that they were really known for. And I think they've gone by the wayside. You might still be able to mail order some of these items,
Yeah.
like you can do. So yeah,
And so you drove the truck
yes.
and you delivered the food.
Yes.
So how would you get new customers?
So I am really glad that you asked. I initially was hired as a route builder because there were no open routes. And I had just begged the depot manager, give me a chance. I can do this. I can hang in there. I grew up on a farm. I can drive these big trucks. Like I can do it. And so he stuck me on a route with a veteran driver. And so the driver would go and drive their route, and I would ride shotgun. And so my role was to hop out of the truck and try and work the other houses and set appointments for the
Mm.
main driver to come back. And you wear this really interesting blue polyester uniform, shorts and a button-down shirt. And I pretty well quickly figured out the game was to beat them to the end of the street because the guys, there was a hazing period, and they would get to the end of the street and they would turn the corner and leave me. And I didn't know the route, so I didn't know where I was going. So I would be running through this neighborhood in my little polyester uniform, and it was just hilarious. And so they kind of figured, okay, she's tougher than we thought. She's going to hang in there. And I had gone to the Goodwill and gotten a backpack, um, and got some running shoes, ditched my, standard issue Schwan shoes and got some running shoes. And I loaded my backpack with catalogs and little sticky notepads, of appointment setting. And I would take off running down one end of the street, and then they would be doing their route on the other end. And so that's what I did. I route built the entire time that I was with Schwans.
So this thing, the idea of doing phone work to get new business coming in, uh, sounds a whole lot easier than putting on running shoes and trying to beat some truck down to the end of the road. Um,
Oh yeah.
I bet that job taught you more than any other one thing. Because if you can go knock on doors, getting people to buy food out of a truck instead of
Hmm.
the local grocery store, what would be your like? How many hellos would you get to set an appointment? Like, what was your
Oh
ratio?
gosh. Probably 20.
So 1 out of 20,
Mm-hmm.
so like 5%. So
Mm-hmm.
how would you push? So when after 15 no's, what kept you going to what kept you going?
That's a very good question. So really just the sheer desire and drive. Like I didn't have anything else. I was
Mm,
sleeping on my sister's couch. I didn't have a car in my name. I'd borrowed my brother's, hand-me-down car. He was in law school, and I had established a bank account in my own name finally, separate from my ex-husband's. And so I just needed to get my feet under me. And
mm,
so that was really the driver, at first. And it's interesting what you called out about what it taught me, because it taught me process, right? The first thing I figured out is I can't be running back to the truck to get catalogs all the time because these guys are trying to beat me to the end of the street and leave me, to give me a hard time. So I got the backpack. And then I realized I needed to be faster. So then I got the running shoes. And I don't know if it was these
mm,
people opening up their front door and seeing me standing there sweating, panting in my blue polyester button down that was supposed to be nicely starched, and it wasn't in the July heat in Nebraska. But I started selling items carry to the door. So the depot started a contest of carry to the door, and they gave the driver that sold the most carry to the door in a week an extra $250. And I was going to get that $250.
mm.
The regular drivers, they didn't really want to do that with their customers. And so I thought I'm going to do this. So I took my little backpack and I put the catalogs and the little sticky notes, and then I would put two or three of those carry to the door, items frozen. So if I couldn't set an appointment, I would say, well, if you don't want Rick to come back, I completely understand, but I do have here some wonderful, crunchy chicken strips. This is item number 501. It's 3 pounds of chicken strips for $12.99. You can use them in this, that, or the other, and people would buy it. And so I had to sell 10 a week to be eligible for the spiff. And man, I sold my little heart out. So I really learned the process driven part of sales.
Hmm.
And that was huge.
Let's tie that into what you're doing now. So how many units like last month, this month? How many units are what are you running right now?
Last month I did 14 closings, and this month I have 21 so far. And I got 4 contracts in yesterday to add to the 3 that I had month to date, for December. So we're rocking. We're
And
rocking
you're
and
in
rolling.
and I know where you're at, but you're in Nebraska.
Yep, Lincoln, Nebraska. Yep.
So 21 units. That's impressive.
Well, thank you.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
What drives you these days, Monica?
Oh, wow. I love people. I really enjoy connecting with people. And, the job that I worked immediately prior to becoming a mortgage loan officer, I worked in retail for a company called Shields. And they are a wonderful employee-owned company. And if you ever have an opportunity to visit a Shields, you should, because the service and the customer experience is really just second to none.
What are I don't know what that is. What
It's
are
a
they?
sporting goods store.
Okay, okay,
So,
okay.
yep, they have a Ferris wheel in the middle of them. They're employee owned, and they just really do a great job of teaching you accountability, teaching you, the line behind, and leadership is so important, and to invest in the people that work shoulder to shoulder with you every day. And that really fostered a love of people that carries over into what I do now. So really, it's just joy in connecting every day. And I think layered in with that, I have a 12-year-old daughter. Her name is Lainey, and she really just means the world to me, like, most parents feel about their children.
Mm,
And Lainey's a little bit unique because she came to us after 2 rounds of IVF, and she was born with a liver disease that we did not realize she had until she was 3.5 months old.
mm,
And she suffered a subdural hematoma, which almost ended her life. And going through that experience and coming out on the other side and still having her and being able to be her mom,
mm,
that really has just put a very deep appreciation in me for
mm,
connecting with people and where they're at in their journey, and what part I could play. And it's not always writing a mortgage. Sometimes it's just connecting them with another professional that I know that can help them and serve them better than myself. So those two things I would say, a love of people, and then just that experience with my daughter that
mm.
that taught me the importance of authenticity and connecting with people where they are.
What do you think you're doing? So I saw a report that the average loan officer, this is like 3 months old, but it's probably very close same. The
Mhm.
average loan officer closed 0.8 loans last month,
Mm,
right?
wow.
So let's call it one every other.
Hmm.
Well, you're closing 14, 20, right?
Hmm.
What do you think you're doing different?
Well, I'm executing the things that I learned through working with you guys and getting to know everybody there. I would say I I do my calls and my reaching out in the morning, right? That's when I feel that I'm the most open and authentic is in the morning. So I make that a priority, and it's about connecting with individuals and feeling it. And this might sound really cheesy and kind of corny, but when I'm reaching out to somebody, I'm very much tapped into what can I do to serve them and help them when I
Mm.
reach out. It's not
Like a s-
about oh, I got to talk about the appraisal and I got to remind them to pay this fee and I got to tell them about this. And nope, it's
Mm,
about how are you? You know, what can I do to help? Here's where we are. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this with you.
mm,
And so I think it's just that authentic connection. And I have tried to build into my process different touch points that are very authentic to myself and the way that I interact with people and do business. And it boils down to surprising and delighting the client. What can I do to surprise and delight somebody that they're not going to see coming that's going to maybe make their day and bring a smile
For
to
instance,
their face?
for instance,
For instance, if it's your birthday during the transaction, I'll send you a bouquet of balloons or, warm cookies to the office. If you know, God forbid a pet passes away or something tragic happens during the course of the transaction, especially, just showing up with empathy,
mm,
asking what I can do, recognizing what they're dealing with, letting them know that I'm here, some of those types of things. And honestly, when somebody calls and says, "Oh gosh, Carl said to give you a call. We're looking to buy a house," and the first thing I say is, "Oh my gosh, congratulations! That is so exciting. I am very happy for you. What wonderful news. What led
mm,
you to this decision?" Right? Acknowledge that this is a big deal for them and be
mm.
excited for gosh darn sakes. I mean, luckily, through grit and luck and relationships, I'll do 21 closings in November. That's 21 different things that should be celebrated, right? Even in the situation where you're helping somebody with a divorce or a death, there are reasons to honor people in those moments.
Where did like on your 21, where did most of those come from? Like break it like is this from past database, consumer direct, social media, phone? Like where's it coming from?
Yeah. So the vast majority are from existing realtor relationships, realtors that I've worked with or listing agents that I've worked with in the past year. And then client referrals is next. Past client referrals would be next. Um, and then past clients themselves, either buying a second home or, you know, a move up purchase.
I think that's a lot of people miss out on that. They think when we talk about marketing their past database, we think we mean that most of the loans are the past database. And what I just heard you said, which same thing with my group, is we get more of our closings are referrals from our past database than
Mm-hmm.
the actual past database getting a loan themselves.
Yes.
And
Oh,
how do
yeah.
you how do you get your past database to refer to you? Like what do you do to make that happen?
Well, I ask.
Huh? Wait, say that again.
I ask them.
So how do you do that? How do you ask you how do you do that?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll just say, "Hey Carl, it's Monica Ledbetter giving you a call with, Prosperity Home Mortgage. Hope you're having a wonderful day. What's new? I know holidays are coming up. Do you and the lovely Mrs. White have any big plans?" And then, chat for a few minutes, and then I'll just say, I just wanted to reach out to you and wish you the warmest, best holidays. I really think a lot of you guys, and I had so much fun helping you. And if you ever have any of your friends and family that need help with any kind of real estate or mortgage advice, I sure would appreciate you sending them my way because you were just so wonderful to work with. And I would love to work with more people like you.
Just that simple.
Yeah. And it's truly from a place of gratitude and heartfelt,
And sincerity.
And honestly, there are people that we get to the end of the transaction and we've realized it's maybe not a good fit. Something
Hmm.
along the way transpired, or our communication styles didn't mesh, or something came up that one of us couldn't get past. And so they get, a birthday video that's automated. They get the automated things, but they don't get the phone
I
call.
get it. I get it. I
Right.
get it.
And that's okay too.
Yeah, I get it. Hey, out of your 21 for November, what's your purchase refi ratio on that?
In November, I'm a little light on refi. Yep, I've got three refi and the rest are
Okay.
purchase money. October was a little bit higher in refi. And, I've been executing the refi strategy plan,
Yeah.
and I've got more refi leads right now than I know what to do with. You know,
So
people,
nice.
oh yeah, it's wonderful. People
And you're
are,
talking the refi toolkit?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. The email went out and they started to trickle in. And then when I did the letters, and it took a little time, writing a little
Mhm.
handwritten on each
Yeah.
one. My goodness. I mean, I think I've got 22 or 23 that I need to get back with because
Wow.
those letters are starting to hit.
Yeah. Good for you.
And they just want to have the conversation and open it up. And, maybe we won't do anything until Q1 of next year, but they at least know that I'm here
Mhm.
for them and the conversation's in progress.
Hey, Monica, what does a team look like? So when you're closing double digit loans like you're doing right now, 14, 21 in that ballpark. So there's you show it who's on your team and like what's their basic role?
Yeah. Well, I'm very lucky to have a loan officer assistant, an LOA, who's licensed.
Okay.
And so I'll do the, initial application, kind of comb through it. She'll clean up the docs and, get everything in there, look at it, set it up. I'll go in after her, fine tune loan options, reach out to the client, have the conversations and get them going. And then, so she's really my right hand. And then I've got a gal who recently started with me, whose role is mainly the marketing touches, executing the marketing touches. So
And
if
what does that mean?
well, if a lead comes in and they don't have all their docs in, she'll follow up every other day until they get in so we can decision.
Okay.
I do a little $1 scratcher lottery ticket after people get pre-approved. I just with a handwritten note that says, "We're so lucky to be working with a client like you." And I send that out to the
Mm,
pre-approved client. And so she helps me execute that. Birthday cards, handwritten birthday cards, she sends those out. Lining up, breakfasts for new agents. We do a new agent breakfast every quarter. So getting the swag bags ready and getting, the invitations out and signups in, all of those kinds of things fall kind of into her bucket. Which that's a newer role, and I'm so glad that I brought her on. She's a wonderful fit and she really enjoys it. So yeah, she used to be a hairdresser. So she loves talking to people and connecting to people. I mean, you could drop her in a room of strangers and she'll come out, with 14 new friends.
but yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, so on this new agent thing, tell me. Well, wait, let me make sure I got the team. So it's you,
Hmm.
a loan partner,
Hmm.
a marketing slash help collect the docs person,
Hmm.
and then I think you have a like a company processor or a shared processor or
Yep.
something like
Yep.
that.
Good processor.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
perfect. That
Yeah.
sounds good. Hey there. Hey, if you're loving the tips so far, be sure to hit that subscribe button right down there and then tap the little bell so that you never miss out on more free cool tips coming your way. Also, I would love to hear from you. Drop a comment beneath there. Let me know what you think or tell me what you'd like to hear next. So on this new agent thing, tell me what that is again.
Yeah. So a new agent breakfast for newly licensed realtors. And I do a quick little 20-30 minute presentation, who I am, what my brand promise is, how to refer,
Wait. How do you identify the new agents?
through the Realtors Association. So,
Okay, and so the new agents to your area,
mhm, yep.
the Realtors Association say, "Hey, here's the list."
Hmm.
How,
Yep.
how do you invite them?
So we do an email, we
Okay,
do a snail mail paper invitation, we do a
okay,
phone call,
okay.
and then 2 days before we do a reminder text message,
And how often do you do this?
quarterly.
And how many new agents do you invite, and how many show up?
Oh my gosh. Well, this last go round, we invited 23 and
Okay.
17 showed up.
Holy cow. Now,
Yeah,
Monica, so if you'd have asked me, hey, Carl, is it a good idea if I do this? I might would have said, I don't know, Monica. They're new agents. How do you know they're gonna, they're gonna pan out?
sure.
What's been your results so far?
It's been fantastic.
Really?
So, one of the things that I do at the breakfast is there are little handouts at each station,
Okay.
and it says lender tips that make you a stronger agent. And then I have, 4 or 5 things listed, like preparing buyers for financing early, navigating the contract to closing timeline. and they can make a little check in what they want to learn more about or what they feel they need help with.
Uh,
And then there's some blank lines that they can fill in and then for their contact information. So the ones that do make it, right? Because we know the fallout rate can be quite high.
yeah.
Um, the ones that do make it really keep coming back and are like, oh, she's the authority. She taught me early. She helped me with my talk track on how to explain a CD or a fee worksheet or, the timeline of everything. And the ones that don't make it are still wonderful referral partners
No, I get it.
because,
And you invested a breakfast, right? So
Mhm.
it's not like so
Right.
all right. So once somebody and is it a breakfast? Is that what you said or
Yes,
lunch?
breakfast.
Right.
It's a
All right.
breakfast. Yep.
So once you do this breakfast and you have these 17 people every quarter show up, uh, do you do any special follow-up to them, or do you just put them in your normal follow-up campaign, realtor follow-up campaign, or do you call them 3 times a year or once a month? Is
Great
it strictly
question.
email? Like, what's the follow-up on these new agents that's not producing yet? What's that follow-up
Mhm.
look like?
Yep. So I put them in my regular CRM database, and
Okay.
then I also overlay a new journey specifically for newer individuals. So as I'm going through and giving a training, so I might do a 30-minute, on loan writing 101,
Okay.
contract to close, what's the timeline, what to expect, pitfalls, things like that. And I might do it in person where I've got, a handful that will come and then I record it, and we'll send it out to everybody else. And then follow that up the next week with a phone call. And so I try and do a cadence of a value added, training once a month. And sometimes I'll go back and recycle a previous recording because, maybe that month is just too busy to squeeze it in, or maybe that crop of new agents that came through, didn't really identify anything concrete, or I haven't prepared anything, on the topic that they wanted. But, as loan originators, we can get up and we can talk for 15, 20, 30 minutes about just about anything. And so that's the drip. It's just the consistent follow up, right? Because even with new ones, there's so much. I mean, what I'm going through and teaching them now is, hey, these are the 5 things that you can talk to a lead about, whether it's a referral, an online lead. These are the 5 things that you can find out, and it's going to tell you how solid they are, right? And whether or not they're a good use of your time. So that's the conversation I'm trying to teach them now, is maybe how to evaluate, their leads a little bit more in depth.
Do other loan officers know that you're doing this?
Yes,
And do other loan officers know that you're closing 14, 20 loans a month?
probably not. Yeah, probably not.
Because my next question was going to be, how many are doing what you're doing?
None.
Isn't that funny?
None. Yeah, and I think a lot of folks think of it as, oh, a first-time homebuyer seminar, and those don't yield anything, right?
Hmm.
And those can be difficult, right? But think of how the market's changed. First-time homebuyers now can engage Chat GPT or Google, and they can get just a wealth of information, whereas 10, 15 years ago, they couldn't do that, you
That's for
know?
sure.
And for realtors, it can still be tricky, even more so sometimes, to learn how the business really works, the nitty gritty. When I explained a funding wire and a doc package going to the title company, some of them, their minds were just blown. And I'm thinking, you didn't cover this in licensing?
Mm,
No, they didn't. And so there's a knowledge gap there that we can help with. And I
mhm,
think a lot of people don't really think of it that way, as, hey, let me peel back the curtain
mhm,
and I will hopefully make your role a little bit more enjoyable and a little bit more smooth, and you'll appear as more of an expert to your clients. And I'm happy to do that because it also helps me.
mhm. So, Monica, we have thousands and thousands of loan officers across the nation to listen to this. And it never ceases to amaze me. A good portion of them are just getting started, right? There's a lot of loan officers entering into the industry, even when we have our challenging times, and there's new people coming in. For the new people that's listening to this, uh, what's one thing you would say? Hey, if you want to get to that first 4 or 5 closings per month, not just one lucky month, but like on a regular basis, what would you tell them to do?
Oh gosh, that's such a great question, Carl. I think I would say start your day with intention. I think that's very important to
Tell me
have,
what that means.
a structure that you follow, you
Okay.
know, and don't beat yourself up if it's not 100% of the time, right? My best week, I'm probably 85, 90% of the time executing my intentions. So start with intention so you can measure where your efforts are going and what you're yielding, and it's easier to tweak what's working or not working. You don't get caught up in your feelings as much. Identify your why, and then
Mm,
don't give up. Do not give up. Be
mm,
relentless about making connections, taking care of yourself because you've got to be in a good energy space to be able to consistently have that smile on,
hmm
consistently be asking more questions than you're,
hmm
spouting information.
hmm
And that takes energy. So,
So what activity, tell me what to do. Give me here, go do, give me specific activities for me to do to close my first 3 to 4 loans each month. Like, give me some specific activities.
oh my gosh. Okay. So, as an LO, I would say identify realtors that have got business to give
Hmm
and consistently call them and execute your, intentional plan against them.
hmm
Talk to your friends and family, let them know you're in the business of doing loans, and that you've got help that you can provide. And then I would say pick a product or pick a niche that you can really dig deep into and get comfortable with. There are so many resources out there that you can take advantage of, from websites to YouTube videos, but pick something, whether
Like,
it's
what would, what,
refinances or
give
bond
me,
loans or
okay, I got it.
something like that you can really start to learn it backwards and forwards, what your company offers, the positioning that you have, and then go deep in that. And then once you
hmm
go deep, you can work on adding another product and going, more broad.
How about, all right, I'm closing my 4 loans and I've been doing that for the last 2 years. How do I go from 4 to 15?
Oh my gosh. This is like the Miyagi and the master, like I oh my goodness. Again, I think it goes back to having an intentional plan, tracking where your efforts are, tracking what you're doing, understanding what's working so you can double down on what's working
Mm,
and retool and fix what's not, right? Um, and again, there's just no substitute for doing the work. Believe me,
mm,
I've tried. There's no
yeah.
substitute for doing it. And it's just additional phone calls, additional reach outs, asking more questions of people than what you are imparting to them.
So what I'm hearing you say is identify what is that activity that's closing my 4,
Hmm.
delete everything else that interferes with me doing that activity, and just do that activity more.
Hmm.
That's
Absolutely.
pretty
Yeah,
simple advice.
absolutely. Yeah.
Pretty simple advice. Well, I try to keep these to what I call treadmill time, or
Yeah.
I used to say drive to the office time, but most of us don't drive to the office anymore. So, is there something I should have asked you today that I didn't?
Oh my goodness. I don't think so. Not unless you want me to go back and tell the story of the Schwan's thing, but I think we got it. The other thing that's converting is the personal notes. I mean, I'm writing more personal notes now than I ever have before.
To who?
Oh gosh, insurance folks that work in the insurance industry, folks that work in the title industry, um, borrowers or even borrower adjacent individuals. I had a couple that I closed with recently, and dad was a non-occupant co-borrower. And so at the closing, it happened to be one that I went to. These were repeat clients. And dad started telling me the story of going to Syracuse University for college, um, as we were waiting for everything to get rolling. And he utilizes a motorized wheelchair to get around. And he always wears a nice fleece blanket over his lap. And so after closing, I had Rachel find a Syracuse blanket on Amazon and wrote a handwritten note and sent it to him. And he called me the other day and was just, I can't believe that you thought of me. I can't believe that
Mm,
you did that. It was so good to see you again. That's just fun. It's just fun to be able to surprise and delight
mm,
somebody. Think of how often that happens in our day,
mm,
so rarely. And so, yeah.
mm. How many of those notes do you do like a week or a day, or what does that look like?
Oh, my goodness. At least five a day.
No kidding.
At least five a day. hmm
Hmm.
And
Get,
it's better if I'm in that place of openness and creativity. It's better for me if I do it in the morning,
yeah.
you know.
I'm the same way. If I need to do something creative, it has to happen before noon.
Yeah.
Uh, Afternoon, I lose a little bit of my flair, for
hmm
whatever reason. So I couldn't agree with you more. So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
so interesting. I think with all the automation and all the technology, people on some level are craving a human touch.
I couldn't agree. I think that's why social media has gotten so popular is we become a uh, compared to the days where we lived in a small village. We've become a separated society, and I don't mean the political thing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like in the last 100 years.
hmm
Or like, Monica, we used to sit around and play cards in the evenings with our neighbors, and people don't do that anymore, right? Right, good or bad, they just don't. And I think the social media is people's attempt to have that connection again. So when you get somebody like yourself that understands the wisdom of getting out and connecting with people, I think you're right. People are starving
hmm
for that interaction with people. Well, you have a fantastic story. I can tell you, it couldn't happen to a nicer person. Your hard work has definitely paid for itself. And what a leading by example to your wonderful daughter to teach
Yeah.
her to be independent, successful, you can do it kind of thing. What a
Mhm.
fantastic role model you are for your daughter. I absolutely adore you. You're just a great, you have such an inspiring story. And I appreciate you sharing it here today.
Thank you. Well, thank you for asking me.
Yeah.
And on Veterans Day, thank you for your
Yeah.
service.
It is happening.
What's
Well,
today?
I was kind of in the service and I kind of wasn't. I tell people that. I was in the Air Force. And,
Yeah,
and I'm not ditching the guys and I'm going to get all these emails from these men and women
right.
from the Air Force. But like my heart's always been with the Marines and the Army.
Yeah.
That those are the guys and girls that when the bullets flying, they're dodging bullets. I'm back at the air base, putting gas in the airplane kind of
Yeah.
thing. So I just keep it real. But thank you
Yeah. Oh,
for your kind words.
absolutely.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
well, let's see. So as we're recording this, it's November 11th. I'll timestamp
Mhm.
this. What's on the horizon?
Oh my gosh. Well, the holidays for one,
Yeah.
which I'm very excited about. My previous career I mentioned was with Shields, so that was re hardcore retail, right? So that was
Hmm.
70, 80 hours a week and lots of time walking around, greeting customers, helping people. And it's nice to be able to, unplug. And
Mm,
when I'm off, be off. And when I'm
mm,
on, be on. Because there's business being done. There's absolutely business being done. Um, my December, I think, will be probably my second or maybe third highest volume month. I mean, it's brisk. So there's business to be done, but being able to unplug and have some of that special time and create the memories that I
mm,
want to create with my family, I just really look forward to that. I really do.
mm.
And then in February, we go skiing. We do a skiing trip with my brother and his
Where, where do you
wife.
go? Where do you go?
Well, we've gone all over the place, but ironically enough, we are going to go to Laramie, a little bit north of Laramie, Wyoming. There's a
Yep.
very
Mm,
small ski resort that's just the right size for the kids. Not too crazy, it's not too huge. They can kind of venture and do the runs on their own. And when we get tired, we can go to the lodge and we can basically see
yeah.
every run that they're on. And so that's been wonderful and a lot of fun. And we rent a cabin and we all stay in one cabin, with a hot tub, which is fun for the kids. So I look forward to that every year.
Well, a well-deserved reward. So good for
Mhm.
you. Hey, congratulations for all your success, and
Thank you.
thanks for being such a great inspiration for so many. I appreciate it.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Couldn't have done it without you. That's
Well,
that's for real.
and I appreciate your kind words. I do. So, all right. Thanks a lot, Monica.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Outstanding. Okay, Monica. So again, thanks so much. Hey, for the refinance toolkit, if you would like to see a copy of that, it's what we call the Refi Toolkit. It's a turnkey. Here's the email to send out. Here's the letter to send out. Here's the video. Here's the social media post. It's been working like gangbusters on getting refis from your past database, friends and family. Really killer system. I just saw that that for 2025, somewhere around 40% of all loans closed were refinanced. And so if you're looking that yours isn't in that ratio or somewhere at least on the north side of 30%, you can do what Monica did and go, hey, you know what? I'm going to throw a little gas on that fire and get some of these refinances while my purchases are kicking in, and make yourself a nice little Christmas bonus. The good news about this business, we get to write our own Christmas bonus. So you want us to walk you through the refi toolkit? We'll be glad to do that free of charge. Just go to getmoreloans.com. Tell them you want to see the refi toolkit, and they'll show it to you. Obviously, we're looking for you to become a member here long term, but that is not a requirement for you to for us to walk you through the refi toolkit. So come check it out. Getmoreloans.com. We'll talk to you when you call in, and we'll see you on the web. Thanks again, everybody.